Hey guys. How's everyone doing? Alright, I think we're all set up. Alright guys, keep tapping and sharing. Tap away, share away, all that good fun stuff. I just don't want to be live past midnight, alright? So at most it's going to be about 2 hours, just to give everyone a heads up. Alright. Alright, looks like we've already got a guest. It's probably going to be a troll. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, man. Good. How old are you?
I'm 19 years old.
Alright, what's up? What's on your mind?
I was going to ask what you think about socialism. Do you socialist or no?
That's not really on topic. Do you have anything you want to say to the topic?
Oh, no, not really.
Alright, man. Good. Alright, no, you're good. Take care. What's up, Amber? Paige, hello. Sonny, hello. Thoughts on a recent push of trans ideology being funded by a ring of P3DOs? Okay. That's my thoughts. Matt is playing a banger right now? Okay. YouTube comments are? Already? Well, not already, but on the last one, I was reading the comments on the last live. Yeah, they were a bit wild, I would say. All right. So again, guys, if you are in opposition, if you disagree with the background, vote for Trump, whatever, there's a request button at the bottom. It looks like that pink and blue person that you see on screen. Go ahead and click that. And everybody else, if you can tap share. I do have that gift goal. If you guys can help hit that, pay links are also in the bio to show support. Hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How old are you?
34.
All right. What's on your mind? 33. What's on your mind?
No, nothing. I was just seeing the prompt. I don't hate the. I don't hate the whole equation, right?
You just hate the trans people.
No, I feel like the first half of the equation is different than the second half of the equation.
Yeah, that's been MAGA's talking point lately, that they were emailed. I don't see how that really matters. I don't see whether...
You asked me,
yeah, that's
you
been
asked
MAGA's...
me my opinion, I gave it to you.
Right, but what does that have to do with, like, human rights?
I didn't say anything that had to do with...
I know, but that's my point
rights.
then. So, like, whether you think LGB is different than T, different than Q, different than I, like, okay.
No, I mean, like, the first three letters actually don't really like the last four plus equation, because there's apparently gender has no spectrum, so there's endless. After T, it's endless, right?
Okay, but that still doesn't really speak to why their
why
their rights are being infringed upon.
The first three letters of that equation are finite, right?
Okay, so let's say I grant you that.
No.
Now
it's
what?
not just okay. I'm
no, it is
asking a
just
question.
okay. It's irrelevant. I don't know why you guys think this is such a good talking point. Who gives a shit? I'm talking about how we treat human beings. I'm not talking about how we group letters together. If you want to put T in some other, if you want to put T in some other letter thing,
somebody's getting
fine.
pretty angry over there.
Sounds good, dude.
Angry.
Perfect, great, I love it.
A little angry over there.
Cool. So, can we talk about how humans are being treated, or do you want to talk about
why
letters?
Why are you getting so angry? Why don't we talk about that first?
That's great. Would you like to talk about how humans are being treated, or do you want to talk about letters?
Well, so if we're going to talk about how humans are being treated, so if you walk into a public or a private space that's specifically for you, and then you see a 6'3" dude walk through with a mustache saying he's a girl, how do you feel in that situation when you're a woman?
Well, I don't care because people use restrooms to use the restroom to alleviate themselves.
I know.
Well, neither are you. Yeah, neither are you. Neither are you. Neither are you. So neither are you. So you can't speak for women, okay? And I hate to break it to you, dude, but the majority of women don't give a shit. So you trying to impose what you believe onto women isn't going to work. And I also hate to break it to you, how bathrooms or restrooms, whatever you want to call them, are divided upon is societally based, right? That doesn't determine whether it's moral or not, whether it's ethical or not, whether it's right or not.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but you're a faggot, bro. So.
Well, that's not a good talking point.
Well, it's not a good talk.
Right. So goodbye. Really not a good talking point. Like, listen, dude. Like, that didn't respond to anything. You're not really good at debating. If you have to resort to saying that, well, that didn't really help you out in the debate. Now did it? And once again, guys, you talking about how letters should or shouldn't be grouped within the LGBTQIA plus thing, whatever. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if you think T should be here or there, or I don't care. That doesn't respond to anything that we're talking about at all. Like, it's such a non-talking point. I just don't care about that. Like, I just want to get to the point where we're talking about how humans are being treated. Well, YC, you're obviously not going to come back up. You kind of lost your privileges when you decided to slur. When those are the rules that... Those aren't something that we allow here. Which you already knew. I think you wanted to get kicked. I think you realized you had nothing to say and you were going to look really bad in the debate, so your best option was to resort to a slur to get kicked. That's what you decided to do. I judge all day by the people that I speak to while having done these lies dozens upon dozens upon dozens of times, bro, man. That's how I judge. And I judge it based on what these people voted for, so... But bro, man, you are welcome to come on up, okay? Maybe you can give me a different impression of a Trump supporter. I don't think you're going to, but you're welcome to try. Now, everybody else, if you guys are enjoying the live, keep tapping and sharing. Make sure you give me a follow if you enjoy the live up until this point. People watching on the tube, hello. Hope you guys are doing well. What else? I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't know. Subscribe to me on the tube if you guys don't already. Also in Discord, guys, we're coming up on like 750 people in there in Discord. So if you want to be a part of Discord, please click on the link in the bio. If the link does not work for you for whatever reason, DM me. I'll give you a link that does, in fact, work. I think that's really it as far as my little announcements that I got to make. I don't really have anything else to say besides, if you're opposition, come on up. And guys, as far as going live tomorrow, I do have a couple clients in the morning. My goal is to go live after that, so it may be about like 8:15, 8:30 Eastern time in the morning. My goal is to go live at least. I will certainly let you guys know beforehand, though. Hello.
Hey.
Hey, how old are you?
I'm 31.
All right, what's on your mind?
I wanted to get to this topic about trans people in bathrooms.
Sure. What about it?
So, if I can throw a scenario out there, if you had a 260-pound biological man that had a history of not just abusing women in general, it could be domestically, it could be sexually, it could be whatever. Would you like, if that person went and identified himself as a female, you would be comfortable with that man going into a woman's bathroom?
Well, listen, people have the right to use restrooms, and based on somebody's previous history as far as like SA or violence in general, that would be problematic no matter what their gender or sex is. So I don't see what I don't see what that has to do with them being 200. I don't see what that has to do. I don't see what that has to do with someone being 260 pounds.
Cut me off.
You're cutting me off.
So,
I was trying to respond. Hey, do you mind if I respond to the question that you asked me on my live? So you don't cut me off, I'd appreciate that. Yeah, so let me answer the question that you asked me on my live. I'd appreciate it. So them being 260 pounds.
You guys so mad.
So them being 260 pounds. Do you mind if I answer the question, or do you want? I'm trying to. You're not allowing me to because you keep trying to cut me off. So I'm gonna show you the fuck up, okay? So them being 260 pounds. Them being 260 pounds, irrelevant. You're trying to appeal to emotion. Them being trans, irrelevant. Them being a man or a woman or a female or male, irrelevant to your question. It doesn't matter. I don't think restrooms should necessarily be separated at all. I'm fine having unisex bathrooms. Okay? So I don't really see how what you said really poses an argument.
So, you didn't answer the question. You just sat there. And you basically
just I'm sitting here. Yeah, that's what I do in a chair. I sit.
Wow, you interrupt me. Can you just shut up for 1 second?
Well, I did answer your question. You just didn't like the answer.
Real quick, so you didn't answer my question at all. So
I did.
Real quick, somebody said in your comment section.
No, we don't respond to comments. You talk to me or that's it.
Biological male.
You talk to me or that's it. You talk to me or that's it.
You're such a.
You talk to me or that's it.
So
You do not respond. Don't respond to comments. You're going to respond to me.
This is all.
Can you act like an adult? Can you act like an adult? Can you act like an adult and stay on topic?
I'm not acting like an adult.
So stop responding to comments when I'm telling you not to respond to comments. Can you do that?
I'm not responding to the comment. I'm responding to you right now, but you're too dumb to know that.
Perfect. Love it. Okay. So what is that person being 260 pounds? What is the relevance of that?
Well, because there's actual cases of that same exact thing happening.
So why is the relevance? Right. So what's the relevance of their weight?
Cut me off.
So what's the relevance of their weight? Would it change if they were 160 pounds?
Because men are a lot more physically bigger than women, and that's biological.
So 260-pound men are bigger than 40-pound boys. Should 40-pound boys not be in the restroom with 260-pound men?
Okay, but they also.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no?
You're
yes or no?
So you want me to answer yes or no?
Yes or no?
But you won't.
Yes or no?
You won't answer yes or no questions, but you.
Yes or no? Should a 260-pound person be in the restroom with a 40-pound boy?
He also has a 260-pound dad.
Should a 260-pound person be
protecting him?
Okay,
so
great.
Yeah, he can because guess what?
Okay, so weight differences don't matter.
Equal force in there to fight off that men.
So weight differences don't matter.
Can I answer the question, Doug?
Well, no.
Just sit here and be.
Well, no, because you're being
lost. You've already.
I didn't lose. You're just a transphobic piece of shit. So here's the deal: whether someone is trans or not, no matter somebody's weight or not, it doesn't matter at all, dude. And you're saying that someone's in there to help you saying someone is in there to help protect them. So you're saying if somebody doesn't have a parent to come in there, they shouldn't be allowed to go in the restroom, which is odd. It doesn't really make sense at all. So is that the prerequisite for somebody to use the restroom? They have to have a parent in the restroom with them? Yes or no?
So listen how stupid you are.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Here we go with another yes or no question, but you won't answer me
yes or no. I've answered you. I've answered all of your questions.
Answer me with yes or no.
I answered all of your questions.
No, let me respond to what you just said.
I've answered all of your questions. I've answered all of your questions.
Let me respond. You're a coward.
I answered all of your questions.
No, you have not. Let me respond to you, or you're a coward and you've lost this debate. You concede.
You realize I'm not Marty from Back to the Future. You call me a coward isn't going to get what you think you want me to do.
You've lost. I mean, I don't, dude. I'm just.
Shut up. You're almost impossible to speak to, dude. You're almost impossible to speak to. I do got to restart, though. I have a restriction probably from that guy, so I'll restart. I'll see you guys in 2 seconds, all right? Alright, we are good. We are back. Alright, guys. This is the last time I'll restart or go live tonight. Yeah, we're back. Destiny Light, I don't know what that means. You're gonna have to rephrase that comment so it makes better sense. Yeah, that guy was frustrating because he probably never puts himself in position on a live for him to quote unquote lose a debate, because the way he phrases questions, the way that he talks to people, it'd be impossible to. He just doesn't allow for it to happen. Destiny is a Democrat debate who talks exactly like you and has the same narrative. I still don't know what that means, right? You're gonna have to phrase it differently so it makes more sense. If who you're talking about says something that's factually correct, then yeah, factually correct things are going to be said by people who say factually correct things. So, yeah. But I'll tell you what, you are welcome to come on up. You're welcome to request and come on up, though. I live in Pennsylvania. Cool, Josh. Guys, we're looking for opposition. If you disagree with the background, you voted for Trump, anything like that, hit the request button. Dustin, I see you in a request box. Are you opposition? Hello, Danny DeBetty. I am just looking for ops, Dustin. I'm sorry, but if there's something you want to say, you can say it in the comments. Guys, again, if you disagree with the background, hit the request button, okay? Right, you're welcome to come on up if you want. I don't debate people through the comments, though, so that's going to be the last time I'm going to respond to you, unless you do want to come on up and have an actual conversation like a big boy. I was the one who pointed out the difference between man and male earlier. Gotcha. Yeah, I can't always correct every little thing a guest says. I know sometimes people in the comments want me to. I get it. There's times where I do, times where I don't. It just depends on the nature of the conversation. But when it comes to this topic, I can't necessarily correct them every time that they misuse man versus male or woman versus... It's just... Otherwise, they'll just be correcting like every 2 seconds. And I try to correct them when I can, when I do deem it necessary. It's just... You know, I sometimes I think it's probably more important we get to the point of the topic, or of like the debate, rather than trying to, and I don't want to say talk about like minuscule things or semantic things, because it's not. I think it's important, but sometimes people want us to get to the point. I think sometimes that's at times more important, depending. What's up, Donald? You're welcome to come on up if you disagree. Not going to debate you through the comments, obviously. You are welcome to come on up. I don't debate people through the comments. Get invited. Please accept it if you want to have a conversation. If not, I would recommend that you stop commenting in the comment section, because it shows that you're too scared to come on up. Well, there's not just men and women, E. That would be silly. If there's men and women, what would you call a 5-year-old male? What would you call a 7-year-old female? You would call them a man and a woman? No, you would call them a boy and a girl. So, last time I checked, there's a little bit more than just man or woman. But nice try. What's up, all good? You want to come on up if there's anything you want to talk about? Hello.
Yes, I agree with the prompt. We do dislike your community.
What do you mean, your community?
The antinatalist community.
Well, why did you say your community?
I mean, aren't you part of that community?
I am?
Yeah, so
I didn't-
you're an antinatalist.
I am had a question mark at the end of it. I didn't know I was. What made you think that?
Well, if you support that community, you're part of it.
Really? So you can't be straight and support the LGBT plus community?
No.
Why is that?
You cannot be. Because if you support the LGBT community, you are antinatalist. You support the extinction.
Well, you're also a groomer that wants to marry a 13-year-old, so you can F off. What's up, Fresh Prince?
What's going on, man?
Hey, how old are you?
Oh, dude, I'm in my 40s, bro.
I just gotta ask everybody. Don't take it personally. All right, what's your position on things? You disagree with the topic?
I don't understand where you're getting this. Like, do we not have millions of LGBT or QIA that have voted for Trump?
Yeah, I mean, 90% of the community didn't.
Yeah, but you still have a pretty decent percentage that did.
Yeah, I think they can vote against their own interests, sure.
I mean, that's kind of like how like white liberals tell me I vote against my own interests because I'm black. You realize how like racist that sounds, just like it would be homophobic.
Yeah, I'm not saying that to you. I'm not saying that to you. That's not the topic we're on. Yes, I think very much if you are part of the LGBT plus community and you voted for Trump, you're voting against your own interest, or you're in a privileged spot, a part of the LGBT community, and you're wealthy and you're just voting for lower taxes or something like that.
Like how? Like what are they doing to the LGBTQ that makes them?
Well, kicking trans people out of the military for no reason whatsoever other than their gender is transphobic. We could start with that.
You want to start with that? I was a recruiter for the Army. Are you familiar with AR, or actually it was actually UR 40-501, our regulations for it?
Yeah, so what does that have to do with trans people?
Because here's the deal. I couldn't allow people, let's say, that are on hormone blockers, the same as I could not allow people that were on birth control.
That has nothing to do with trans people. Yeah, that has nothing to do with trans people. That has nothing to do with trans people. That has nothing to do with trans people.
If you are pre-op and you're on some form of hormone blocker, I cannot allow you in the military.
Great. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Okay, so what do you...
Yeah, so to get into the military, yes, there are very different standards than what you are allowed to do with what you are in the military. For example, to what Pager said in the comments, or other people said in the comments, yes, you cannot be on birth control, you cannot be on antidepressants, etc. going into the military, but once you're in the military, you can take those things depending on the situation, of course. Having said that, the prerequisite to being trans is the prerequisite to being trans is not being on hormones, and the thing is, all of these. Right, so that has nothing to do with being trans.
What I'm saying is, if, like, let's say you become reliant on any form of medication, so let's say you want to make a transition and you want to start doing all that, it's all about medical readiness. That UR5 or 40-501, it doesn't go away.
Great. You don't have to. Great. You can be trans.
If I can land this.
I know, but you keep making. I know, but you keep making strongman arguments that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I'm not making strongman arguments.
You are because again again that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Just because you are trans, that doesn't mean you're on hormones.
We're being homophobic. What do you
transphobic? Transphobic.
To diabetes. Or transphobic. What do you say to those who have
again for like the fourth or fifth time or fifth time? You do not have to be on hormones to be trans. Are you understanding that?
Okay, I'm not saying.
Great. So why we're all great? So why perfect? Great. So kick people out who are not medically ready. Not all trans people.
Okay. What happens when you become a trans individual?
Nothing. You're just trans. Nothing. You are just trans. You don't become. So here's the issue. You don't understand the basics of this. All right. So to be trans, right? There is no prerequisite, right? You don't have to transition to be trans or anything like that. There's no medications you have to take. There's nothing you have to say out loud. There's nothing you have to do. You just are trans, or you're just not trans. That's really how it is. Okay. So kicking all trans people out of the military for something that not all trans people do or partake in is transphobic. If it's on the basis of them taking hormones, then why don't you kick men who are on TRT out of the military? Why don't you kick cis women who are on birth control out of the military? Right? They didn't do it. They didn't do that because they're being transphobic. It's not about hormones or military readiness. If it was about military readiness, then they would kick only people out who were on hormones.
No, they're not. Trans weren't the only people getting kicked out for medical readiness issues.
That's not what the executive order said. Hold on. We're going to read the executive order. We're going to read the executive order. We're going to read the executive order, and I'm going to show you that it is only in regards to trans people. It is only in regards to trans people. So let's pull it up over here. Give me 1 second. So give me a second to pull it up over here. There is no justification for this. There really is no justification. So there isn't. So prioritizing military excellence and readiness. This order requires that the U.S. Department of Defense update medical enlistment and retention standards to ban transgender individuals from serving in armed forces within 60 days and to discontinue the practice of pronoun self-identification. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. Service members will be required to use sleeping, changing, and bathing facilities corresponding to their assigned sex, with exceptions only in cases of operational necessity. Let's see. Overall, it conflicts with a soldier's commitment to an honorable, truthful, and disciplined lifestyle, even in one's personal life.
Okay, so Mike, I have a lot of questions for you, right? So, remove hormone blockers. Say I have a male soldier who wants to become a female soldier, or in the sense of changing ID.
You don't become a female. But again, the
when it does.
That's not what trans is. That's not. You don't become. But you're already. I know, but you're wrong though. Hold on though. Hold on. We can't have the conversation, Santa. I'm gonna bring you. I'll bring you in right now. We can't have the conversation if you don't even know what being trans is. Right? You're not a male becoming a female. That's not what it is. So if you don't understand the basics, how can we have this conversation? Hey Santa, how you doing?
In DEERS. Do you know what DEERS is?
Okay.
Do you know what
I just want you to explain how all trans people are kicked out of the military based on something that doesn't apply to all trans people.
You keep muting me. You keep muting me every time you don't like or disagree.
It's not a matter. You just keep saying incorrect. You keep saying incorrect things.
I'm not. Okay, so
well, you were
have a male identifier on your ID card. You have to go to DEERS to get it moved over to a female. That changes the PT standards. It changes a whole lot going on in the military. You need an 06 commander approval to be able to do it in the past before this regulation went in.
But you're not changing your sex. You're not changing your sex. This is the part you're.
I'm not giving.
I am understanding. You are not changing. You are not changing your sex.
I don't think you understand. Your issue's not with me. I'm giving you exactly how the military dealt with this. I had to do this for my soldiers if they ever tried to. Okay. There was a certain things that had to go on. When they looked at medical readiness, it changes the PT standard. It changes a whole lot.
Oh no! How awful! How awful that people don't pass an arbitrary PT test. That doesn't matter at all. I don't see how that affects military readiness at all, considering trans people were in the military for decades upon decades upon decades, serving honorably.
You're not understanding.
Serving honorably and doing just fine.
Understanding is when I had, let's say, if I had a trans soldier and they wanted to go ahead and complete a transition. That takes them out of training. That
has nothing to do with being trans. Oh my God! So why kick all of them out of the military?
That's a good question. I don't know.
So that's transphobic then. Then that's transphobic.
My issue. That's not transphobic.
If you didn't have an answer to that, if there's no answer to that, then that's transphobic. If you're not, hold on. It would be one thing, and Sam, you can go in a second. It would be one thing if you're kicking people out of the military who are on hormones because it affects them being able to be deployed. All right, whatever. That's a different conversation. We can have that. But if you're kicking all trans people out of the military, whether they're on hormones or not, then that's just being transphobic. Go ahead, Santa. You want to say something?
Yeah, I don't, Fresh Prince, I don't know if you understand that these were career soldiers. These are people that served honorably. They've been passing their tests. They're post-transition. They've been on their HRT for years. They have families and careers, and they lost their careers. And it's outrageous.
When did that happen?
You should understand, if you're in the military, it's going to be a case-by-case evaluation when people are accessing medical care. And this idea that, we have to fire all the trans people because they're going to get some sort of an operation or something is outrageous.
But Santa, I got a question for you. These career guys, when did they make these, or when did they go on these hormones, and when did they make these transitions? Because it wasn't legal for us in the military to do any of that.
I've watched videos. I've absolutely watched videos of soldiers. You could scroll TikTok and see them. It's going to cost $1 billion to retrain all the soldiers that lost their jobs just because they were trans. And like I said, you can't get a position in the military.
And mind you, by the way, guys, I was against the don't ask, don't tell. I actually was against that. But what I'm saying it doesn't have to deal with trans with me. It had to deal with anybody that deals with the lack of medical readiness, whether you're fat, whether you can't meet the standards of PT, whether you were, like, as I said, diabetes was another great example.
I agree.
So it's not a transphobic
How
thing.
but trans?
Now, hold on, I agree with you guys on this. If there's a trans person that meets all the standards, absolutely fucking keep them in. I'm with you 100%. But if you're doing it,
but that's not what's happening.
Like, let's say you're taking the time to do hormones, you're doing like things that take away from training or deployment readiness.
That's fine.
I have to go against
but if they're banning all trans people, regardless of what you mentioned or not, then what else would that be if it's not transphobic?
I don't see it as transphobic.
But if you're banning all trans people, regardless of those things that you mentioned, what would you call that?
I don't know. As I said, the military's not an equal opportunity employer. They're not.
That's not answering my question.
Why do you think Trump needed... Sorry, Doug.
No, go.
I was going to ask, why do you think Trump needed to step in and do an executive order? Here he takes office. Day one in office, he starts signing executive orders against trans people. Do you think this was something that we needed the president to step in and take care of, and all of a sudden this became a problem, and we need to fire all those thousands of soldiers? On the spot.
Like, how many are there in the military? Let's be quite honest. How many were trans in the military?
About 15,000, I believe. Yeah, 15,000 if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I only met one, which was at Navy SEAL. But I think that Navy SEAL was retiring. I don't think the Navy SEAL was staying in. But for the most part, that's just not a normal thing that we dealt with. Like, there's not many soldiers are come to us and say, "Hey, I'm trans, and can you help us out with this?" That just wasn't a normal conversation.
Right, percent-wise, it was probably small. Yeah, percent-wise, it was probably small, and I'm sure a lot of them didn't want to speak up for certain reasons, which I don't necessarily blame them. But everything was fine. Like, trans people were in the military for a long time, and there was no problems in the military. We've always been the #1 military in the world, and we always will be. I don't see how being trans affected that at all.
I disagree with the idea that there was... Are you talking about post-op trans in the military?
Trans people in general. Just trans people in general.
But so if you're talking about the trans in general, I could probably agree, but in the sense of, let's say, a post-op kind of thing, that wouldn't pass MEPS. So I disagree that...
Prior to. No. Yeah, prior to. I'm talking after the fact of being in the military. I'm just talking about being trans in general. Pre-op, post-op, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying they've always been in the military. There's nothing that took away from the military, them being in. So I don't see why it's all sort of a problem now. Considering, again, percent-wise, it's not that many. Absolute number-wise, it's not that many.
But I'm failing to understand how we just don't... In the bigger picture, like, you're just using the military aspect, right? But I
that's one example.
Agree with you guys on the sense of don't ask, don't tell. I thought that was dumb because I served alongside gay soldiers and all, or Marines as well, and I didn't really give a damn.
Right, but that was just one example. Yeah, that was one example of how I think.
But as a whole, like, Scott Pressler's a good buddy of mine. Like, I don't hate him.
Okay. But what I am saying is that What I'm saying is you didn't give a really good answer as to why all trans people have been kicked out of the military, despite hormones or not.
As
you
I
didn't
said,
really have a good answer
medical
there.
readiness. There's stuff that I can agree with them on because and I get it where you're saying, hey, it still looks discriminatory.
No, it looks discriminatory because it applies to all trans people. If they said
So how would you like
only
to apply?
people who are on hormones or this or that, okay, again, that's one thing. But that's not what we're talking about here. This is just one example of the Trump administration harming the LGBT plus community. Right? There's numerous other examples. But I think that's just one example.
Okay. I mean,
I think banning gender affirming care for
it's discriminatory. I can't tell you that it's not, like, because you're.
But you, but what else? What else would you? What else would you call it if all transgender individuals have been kicked out, whether they are on hormones or not? What would you call that?
I just call it like the standards, like they're enforcing.
But what standard?
In the sense of
what standard applies to it?
Issues, which
but I know, but you're not answering my question. But then why kick all of them out? That's the part you're not answering. Why kick all of them out?
I mean, I can't speak for the military, but
could the answer be that it's transphobic?
Because I'm trying to give you guys the understanding of we had to take training in the military for level 1 through level 4 when it dealt with this specific topic. Everything that they ever brought up was medical. It wasn't like out of a discriminatory whatever. There was like they would always preach to us that there was a what do you call it? There are reliance on some form of medication or like hormones or even the changing over of ID cards. That was a pain in the ass. Or even like, because you have to like pretty much change your whole lifestyle if you go from a male soldier to a female soldier or a female soldier to a male. It changes everything.
That's still not answering my question of why all
it's funny
trans
as you're
people.
talking about how it changes everything, and you're trying to make it out that they're all inherently going to have some sort of medical reasons to get fired. And it wasn't the military that made this decision; it was the executive. It was Trump that made this decision, and it was about attacking trans people. And if you care about soldiers, because it sounds like you do, it's so easy to look up online and hear about the career soldiers that not only lost their job, they lost their retirement benefits because of this bullshit. And I think as a soldier, you should understand and you should stand up for fellow soldiers.
How did they lose their medical retirement?
They lost.
Many of them weren't given on an honorable discharge. Some of them were given a less than honorable discharge, so they weren't able to retain all the benefits.
If they were doing that to people, which if it was legal beforehand and then they did that, I would agree with you all day. That is discriminatory and transphobic.
Yeah. So, but I think he makes a good point though, right? Like, if this was so harmful to the military, then this is a decision that would have been made by those in the military, right? The higher ups in the military, not just by Trump randomly.
I don't feel like it was, though.
But it was. It was an executive order.
Well, while we were going through that training, I was hearing the inner bitchings years prior to this, by the way.
But it was an executive order put forward by Trump, like, which he's not privy to these things, right? Like, he's not knowledgeable on those things. Let's be honest, right? Like, if it was so harmful, I think there would have been.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that there's a lot of generals that were complaining. I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I don't think it was just Trump. Because, as I said, I heard the inner bitchings all the way up at the strategic level, which is right underneath institutional.
Hold on.
Fresh Prince, you're saying that you heard about this. What you definitely heard about was Trump making a political issue out of trans people. He spent more than $215 million on anti-trans legislation. He's talking about trans people at every stop, trans women in sports, right? This isn't the only executive order. Day one in office, he signs an executive order saying there's only two genders, male and female. That was an attack on trans people, on two-spirit people, on intersex people, and it's bullshit. It's not that we need the president.
Wait, what was the other one? I understand intersex, but what was the other one?
Two-spirit.
Hold on one second. I gotta read this out loud. Lindsay, thanks for the 20 on the blue app that starts with the V. W Lindsay in the comments. That's SEY at the end, guys. It says, ask them what standards they met a few years ago that they now are not meeting.
What standards?
W. Lindsay.
Yeah, W. Lindsay, thank you. Yeah, so what standards were they meeting years ago under Biden, under Trump the first time, under Obama, Bush, whatever? What standards were they meeting that they now are not meeting?
During the Iraq and Afghanistan conflict and all that stuff, units had to be medically ready to go. In some cases, less than 90 days. In some cases, if you go on GRF status, if anyone decided, as I said, which it takes a process, because you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you declare trans, right, and you actually want to carry through with, whether you want to, go fully out on that, it requires some medical. And so if you're in a pre-deployment phase, in a training phase, you can't really do it at that time frame. You got to wait for you to come back from deployment to even do that.
So what was
And
the
a lot of
standards?
trainers
Something they could
weren't-
take care of. They wouldn't do it during the time. Then
Wait,
that's
so-
something
so-
they could address on their own time. I've watched a soldier talk about how she paid for her whole transition out of pocket. May I read something to you, Fresh Prince?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, in August 2025, the U.S. Air Force began denying early retirement benefits to transgender service members with 15 to 18 years of service, forcing separation without pensions or, in some cases, with only lump sum payments. So these service members had 15 to 18 years of service, and they lost their retirements and their benefits and their TRICARE health coverage. You think that's okay? You think that's okay?
No, I told you that. I told you that if that was happening, which I didn't know
change their
happened.
hormones or anything. It's kind of outrageous if you want to keep on.
No,
doubling down.
hold on.
Without
Hold on.
even
I would
looking
agree
into
with
it,
you.
that these people deserve to lose their job and their retirements. I absolutely encourage you to watch some videos and listen to some of the soldiers. They're just regular people. They're not mentally ill. They don't need to be fired for being trans. You're muted, Fresh Prince.
Guys, keep tapping and sharing. We're looking for anybody that disagrees. Pay links are in the bio if you want to show support. We also have the gift code and other gifts so you guys can send to show support as well.
Like what I was saying is I disagree with administrative discharges on that kind of behavior, or like that is ridiculous. That's overkill. And I would actually fight alongside any of them to help them do discharge upgrades.
But then at what point would you call this transphobic then if that's happening and then all transgender individuals are being kicked out, hormones or not? What would you call that?
It's hard for me to call it transphobic because if I were to take my whole 20 plus years of experience in the military in itself has done a whole lot of administrative discharges that I disagreed with. And I can't just call it homophobic, transphobic, even the PTSD, they were kicking people out.
But hold on, but these things aren't being done. I know, but these things aren't being done to an entire group of people, though. Right?
Yeah, it was.
So what? Name me another group of people. But that's not a group. PTSD is not a group of people.
Yeah, well, it is when it deals with the warrior class, like the ones that actually go into combat. They were kicking them out for things like PTSD, and just because they had some minor misconduct or whatever, the units thought it was easier to kick them out of the military and not give them any form of retirement or anything.
But that doesn't apply to a group of people based on their gender, sex, race, etc.
Yeah, Fresh, being trans is inherent. You're trying to conflate it with like accessing operations or hormones or something. Being trans is inherent. They're saying that executive order is saying that if you use the wrong pronouns, that you're not fit to serve or some bullshit. It's absolutely attacking people for being trans. You just said you were in the military for an entire 20 years. I just read to you that service members with 15 to 18 years of service got fired.
As I said, and I told you that I would fight alongside those guys. How would you like it if you got fired 18 years in and said, no pension for you, you're getting fired because of who you are? How would you like that? Because that's what you're defending. Well, that actually almost happened during C-19 to a lot of my buddies.
What's that?
So a lot of my buddies that wanted to reject the jab, they almost got kicked out at that time frame as well.
Right, but when you sign to go into the military, you agree that you're going to take any of these things at basic training when they give you like 20 different shots and any shots or medications
No, you don't.
They do. You do agree.
You still have religious and medical exemptions. You could still pull those, but they weren't allowing any medical exemptions.
Okay, but
how is that compared to firing everyone for being trans, Fresh Prince? I don't know why you're trying to pull.
What I'm saying is, if you're talking about discrimination, I can agree with you that there's discrimination in the military. I've seen it, but I'm not going to sit here and say that they're all like they just hate the LGBTQIA, because currently You could be gay, you could be straight, you could be bi in the military, and they're not against them at all.
You said you were against don't ask, don't tell. Now, if you're trans in the military, you're not going to tell anyone.
But at the time that don't ask, don't tell, we didn't have the T on that.
The T has always been there, and there's always been intersections between.
It hasn't always been there. The old school, the old school 1980s, dude. There's a within the community. There's a giant rift there where they don't necessarily believe the T is a part of them.
Are you speaking for the community, Fresh Prince?
What I'm going to say is I got a lot of gay friends that are like, no, they don't recognize the T. They think that the T does too much. But in the military sense, I'm only speaking in the military, it was not recognized back in that time frame in Don't Ask, Don't Tell. It was only L, B, and G. Trans wasn't a thing back in like the 90s all the way up.
Well, it was a thing.
I absolutely guarantee that you had trans people in the military in the 90s.
We may have
and
had
it's funny
it,
because
if you remember
like
correctly, that's exactly what Don't Ask, Don't Tell was L, B, and G. It was not T.
You keep on speaking from a place of authority, but I get the impression that you really don't know what you're talking about, especially when it comes to queer people and trans people. I just don't like you. It seems like you're just learning now about the implications of the executive order firing trans people, and even though you don't really have a grasp on the situation, you're so eager to come up with excuses of why it's okay to fire people for being queer. And I think
I agree with anybody being fired from the military for medical readiness reasons.
But it was even worse. So with Don't Ask, Don't Tell, it was even worse with transgender people. So if you were gay, etc., you can be in the military. You just weren't allowed to like say it openly. But you couldn't even be trans at all at one point, right? So like it excluded them heavily from 93 to 2011. So transgender people were banned on medical/mental health grounds rather than their sexual conduct grounds for use for like gay, lesbian, bisexual people, etc. So it was on a different basis that they weren't allowed.
Yeah, because MEPS and all that stuff, they scan for things like gender dysphoria or dysmorphia and all the other stuff like that.
Dysphoria.
Back in the time frames. They stopped really doing that.
You don't have to have gender dysphoria
recently.
to be trans. You don't have to have gender dysphoria to be trans. Again, you're saying, yeah, all trans people are inherently unable to serve in the military when we've given you examples of how these people are great soldiers.
Lindsay,
You're taking issue with me personally rather than what my job was to enforce regulations. And so take issue with the regulation, not me.
I'm not taking issue with you personally. I'm absolutely taking issue with this idea that you're going to argue that it's justifiable to fire people just because of who they are inherently. If it was another group of people, another demographic or minority that they wanted to decree medically unfit to serve, would you be okay with that? If it was another minority that they said, you know what, all these people are mentally ill, get them out of the fucking military. Are you okay with that, First Prince?
They did it all the time with PTSD and TBI.
Oh my God, we've already gone through this.
Question, for fuck's sake. For fuck's sake, that's mental. Not inherent. That's
not a mental issue.
We've already gone through this.
So you're going to say, I want you to say it. I want you to say being trans is a mental illness. I want you to say trans people are mentally ill.
I didn't say it was a mental illness.
But then why did you say that?
It's fucking shitty of you.
All right, one second. Hold on, 1 second. Hold on, 1 second. Lindsay, thanks for the 10 on the blue out with the V. W. Lindsay, and again, guys, that's spelled with S-E-Y at the end. It says T has been there since the late 60s after the Stonewall riots. Lindsay, thank you so much for the 10. I really appreciate it, W. Lindsay. Yeah, so, man, listen, like, this isn't the same as PTSD. I don't know why you keep mentioning that. Right, like PTSD doesn't pertain to a specific group of people, right? Anybody can have PTSD.
If you're talking about military, it tends to be very much the 10% combat arms. Is usually what you associate PTSD with. Now you could have support elements, absolutely claim it, but for the most part, throughout the war, it was a huge amount. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of cases. And on average, I would see a lot of administrative discharges due to that specific illness.
But again, being trans is not an illness.
But I'm not saying I see it as it, but the military for the longest time would see things like, and you guys even alluded and agreed with me, that the military medical community would say, hey, gender dysphoria or dysmorphia. Now, whether
it's not gender, I don't know why you keep saying dysmorphia.
That's what they saw it as. In
gender
fact,
dysmorphia is not a thing.
If you have anybody that served in the military, that's actually
gender dysmorphia is not a thing.
in our
Oh my
doctrine.
god. Gender dysmorphia is not a thing. I don't know why you keep saying that. It's not a thing.
Because the
And
military
that's why we're saying it's transphobic. That's why we're saying it's transphobic.
I don't agree that the military doctrine was transphobic. It was set a certain way. Like, as I
So
said,
again, for
way
like
that
the
they-
fourth time, if you are kicking all trans people out of the military, hormones or not, surgeries or not, what else would you call that?
So I guess the easiest question to ask you then, right? If
No,
I'm kicking
answer
all
the
trans people out of the
question.
military, is it
Answer the
transphobic?
question. What would you call
It's not
that?
transphobic.
What would you
As long as it
call
gets
that?
under- as long
Oh
as it
my
gets-
god.
I don't
Fresh,
call it
answer the question. What would you call it? Regardless of your weight, regardless of anything else, if you are trans, you're kicked out. What would you call that?
Time to go.
What would you call that the entire group is being kicked out? What would that be?
I call it standards being enforced. That's what they want.
What
That's
standard?
There's not an equal opportunity.
Oh my god!
Not an
What
unequal
standard?
opportunity.
What standard are all trans people not
They
meeting?
cited medical.
What
They
all
cited
trans
medical
What standard are
And
all trans people not meeting?
in the EO. They cited medical readiness.
What standard are they all not meeting?
I'm going to say it one more time. Medical readiness.
Based on what that applies to all?
It deals with commanders and the regulations governing medical readiness.
What specifically about medical readiness
You
are
are
they not
five
meeting?
of
What are the
40-501?
what medical standard are they not meeting that applies to all trans people?
What the regulation covers. And I'm telling you, when I was a recruiter, I used this.
I don't know why he
regulation.
can't answer the question.
I gave you the actual regulation. If you want to pull it up on Google, you'll see what I'm talking about. Anybody that is anybody who can be
Does he not hear it when other people speak?
My God.
Like he just goes and goes and goes, no matter who's speaking or not.
So the question is, Fresh Prince, you're saying it's medical readiness. The executive order says military excellence and readiness. You're saying medical readiness. We want to understand what is inherent about every fucking trans person that they're not military ready or medically ready. Because that's what you need to explain, because you're saying that, oh, it's the body dysphoria morphia shit. It sounds like you don't know what you're talking about, and you're afraid to answer the question, and that's the problem.
I'm not afraid to answer the question. I literally gave it to you. If you are pre-op and you decide to go through the transition process,
you keep doing the same thing.
Trans people don't all get surgery. Most trans people don't get surgery. It's 12% of trans women and 8% of trans men
That's
get
even
surgery.
worse in the sense of readiness.
So what readiness standard are they not
If you're a
meeting?
dude, right? Let's say if you're a guy.
I don't know why you
Say
can't
if you're
answer the
a guy, but
question.
you want to identify as a woman, right? You can't do that without changing your ID card. You have to change your ID card, which
Oh my god, what standard are they not meeting? What standard are they not meeting?
That's the standard. You cannot.
What's the standard?
Or getting approval from an 06. The standard is you have to seek approval. You can't just make that decision. You have to go and seek approval.
So
from a
what
gay
so what standard did they meet all the way up until this point that Trump deemed it necessary that they couldn't then meet these standards? What was that standard that changed?
I'm literally giving you the standards.
No,
But
you're
you
saying the
just don't
standard.
like it.
You're saying the standard is
If
that
I
you
had a
can't
male
identify.
soldier, and I'm just giving you an example. I'm giving an example. If I had a male soldier that said, "Hey, I'm trans and I want to identify as whatever identity that soldier wanted," right? If it requires him to change over to the female, he has to go over and seek approval. That's what the process was.
And then, but why is that not allowed? Why is that not allowed?
Because the regulations at the time didn't allow you to just identify.
But why
Say, hey,
not?
I'm not who I say I am.
Why not?
You can't do
Why
that.
not?
Because the military regulations didn't allow it.
But why
What
not?
regulations are you talking about?
So whether it was DoD directives, whether it was all the way down to even unit directives, like there was things you had to do.
Fresh Prince, is it okay if I want to read from the executive order? I know Doug already did. It absolutely explains what about being trans is a problem and why they're being fired. And it's not because of, they're not saying, oh, they're all mentally ill. Can I read to you what it says?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it says that identifying as a gender that is different from an individual's sex at birth, and this is in quotes, conflicts with the soldiers. So just identifying as a different gender, that conflicts with the soldier's commitment to an honorable, truthful, and disciplined lifestyle, even in one's personal life. And then it states, using pronouns inconsistent, my fucking god, pronouns inconsistent with one's assigned sex at birth, compromises the government's ability to establish high standards for troop readiness, lethality, cohesion, honesty, humility, uniformity, and integrity. My God, it sounds like just identifying as a different gender and using the wrong pronouns is why they got fucking fired. But you're eager to say they're all fucking mentally ill, and shame on you for that.
I didn't say they were mentally ill, did I?
Oh no, you said, oh, I understand. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's what the military thinks. We're listening to you, and it's terrible. You should be standing up for people that absolutely signed to lose their lives for this country. That put in as many fucking years as you, and you're going to say 20 years into it, yeah, Trump's right. Yeah, somebody might want to change your ID and it'll fuck everything up. You sound stupid.
I don't stand. You're taking issue with me rather than what the enforcement of policies were, right? So the gentleman here, right, the host said, even alluded to it, during the time of C-19, were we not required to take certain things? When you're in the military, there's certain things you have to abide by, right? As he alluded to. I go back to, and I pulled
That's
up
not
my
discriminating of a group of people.
Doctrine on this, right? So it was a DoD directive, memorandum DTM 16-005. It allowed, back in the 2016 Obama era, it allowed open service by transgenders, permitted male to female and female to male transitions, but you had to, it was required.
I'm done with them. I can't.
Doug.
I just couldn't.
Good call.
I just couldn't do it anymore. Oh my god. It was circular and it just wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, it was incredibly fucking exhausting because it wasn't... I couldn't tell if he was purposely not understanding or he just wasn't understanding.
I think he just can't be wrong.
But like, there was a reason why he...
Same stupid talking points.
Right, but exactly. Then there was a reason why every time I asked him, what would you call it if not trans, the reason why he couldn't like give me a good direct answer, the reason why he stumbled over his words, because I think he knew it would be transphobic, that specifically. You can keep saying that, dude, but there's not... Listen, man, you can keep quoting whatever you want, but that's not answering the question of if it's not transphobic, what would you call it? Right? And again,
There's
referring
no
to...
other word for it. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, just referring to the quote-unquote job is not a good argument at all, because that's not a specific group of people based on their race, sex, gender, etc.
I think he's trying to... I think the comparison in it is a tough one. Is something to do with them making you make medical decisions or something, and I don't think he understood that it's not that they are taking time off or they need to quit the military to take care of a medical transition. They're being fired for being trans. They're being fired because their pronouns don't match their sex assigned at birth, and they call themselves the gender that doesn't match with their sex either. That's why they were fired.
Right, well, and he was essentially saying it is because it is, right? But I'm asking, why is it that, right? He was saying they weren't meeting the standard of medical readiness, but why weren't they? And that's the answer that he couldn't give. Right?
Oh, and he was saying the military was right, though. He was saying he couldn't give the reason why, but he was saying it was justified, and that was terrible.
Right. Like, it's one thing if you want to argue to say that, like, you know, being on hormones or whatever. Okay, again, I think an argument can be had there. We can have a debate over that, as long as it applies to all people who are on hormones, right? But if you're talking about a group of people, hormones or not, surgeries or not, then there's nothing else that we can call that if not transphobic in this specific case.
Well, of course, and you know, a lot of times with people and with trans people specifically, you could do a case-by-case assessment of a situation. Yeah, same with when people want to talk about, you know, who gets to go into what prison. They absolutely should to do that case-by-case evaluation, and it's their
Sure.
job to make sure everyone's safe. It's the prison's job.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Safe, so.
I agree with that for sure. We have another guest here. You can stay up here if you want, because he's probably going to say some dumb stuff. King.
I'll mute up.
Yeah, man, I'm MAGA, and it says join if you disagree.
I am MAGA, hear me roar.
I
What's
kind
up?
of agree with the statement that LGBTQIA+RS+TUV plus is...
That's not funny.
It's not funny?
Not original either.
It's not original, nor is it funny. No.
Well, I mean, half the questions that you ask the people are not original.
Right, but those are questions based on logic, so of course we would ask the same questions.
It's just scripted questions that you
Okay,
guys make
great.
up
So let's see if you can answer them then. Perfect. Let's see if you can answer them then.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Give me the scripted questions. Go ahead.
What questions do you feel are scripted?
Just the scripted questions that you guys usually have.
You
Like
said
what?
you agree that MAGA hates.
I agree that, man. I mean, the LGBTQRS is just a annoying community, an annoying.
Cool. I find you and you.
Wait? Could what was that?
I find you annoying. Should we strip your rights away?
I mean, you could, but I could care less. Wait,
You mean you couldn't care less? That's how it's grammatically
No, I
said.
could care less.
That means you do
You could care
care.
less. That means you care
could
about
care
it,
less.
sweetheart.
I
If you
could
could
care
care
less.
less, that means you absolutely care about it. It's something people say wrong. Doug was correct. You know what's funny is I have this person
I didn't
blocked
say it
out,
wrong.
but I have a pretty heavy block
Hey,
list.
Santa Claus. Hey, Santa Claus. No,
Yeah.
I didn't say it wrong.
Okay. If you want to, I don't know if you want to learn something. I'll try to be brief. When you say that you couldn't care about something, you say, I could care less. That implies that you actually could care less about it. If you say, I could not care less, I couldn't care less, that means you absolutely care the least about it as possible. So, yeah, it's a correction he made, King.
No, I mean, you can't. No, that you don't know what I'm thinking. So
Terrible. Yeah, I'm
sorry,
relieved.
hey,
I'm
Santa
happy. I
Claus.
don't know
Santa
what you're
Claus.
thinking. I'm
King,
relieved. I'm
Santa
not
Claus,
in
how
your
about you
head.
go? Hey,
King,
Santa
you
Claus,
just
how
said
about
the
you go
saying
to the
wrong.
mall, and how about you get little kids to sit on your fucking
King.
You know what?
Is
I
it
get
that?
full-grown men
That's
to sit
fucking
on my
creepy, man.
face. I get
King.
full-grown men to sit on my face, and they love it.
That's what.
King, is it that hard to admit that you just said the saying wrong? Is it possible that you said the saying wrong? And you just don't want to admit
I
it?
understand what the saying is.
Okay, so
I
you said it
understand what the
incorrectly.
saying is.
Great, so you said it incorrectly.
No,
That's fine.
I said it correctly.
You
guys-
didn't. You just
trying to
you
say
just
that I
lack
said
the
it
ability to
incorrectly,
admit
but
when
I
you're
did
wrong
say it
about things.
incorrectly, 'cause I-
You just lack the ability to admit when you're wrong about things, which is one of the least masculine traits ever. Actually, right? It's one of the least alpha traits to have, to not be able to admit when you're wrong. So the fact that you can't do it is incredibly beta of you.
Well, how do you know what I'm thinking?
Because the saying is the saying, and you said it incorrectly.
Yeah, and I could care less.
So it means
The
you
saying
do
that I
care.
meant to say.
No, it's not.
Right, so that means
you
that you care. That's
Yeah, I do care. I do care what
Great.
you guys are doing to the society.
cool. What am I doing to society that's harmful?
Poisoning the society.
How so? Be more specific.
In just so many ways, man.
How?
So many
Be more
different
specific.
ways.
How? Be more specific.
I mean, the kids that are coming up, man, transgender. Oh my god, dude.
And
Next thing you know, they're gonna be fucking in relationships with their robots here in 10 years, right? And you guys are gonna be accepting of that.
Are you being
Do you
robot
not- do you-
phobic?
wait, hold on.
King?
Do you not
What
see
the
a
fuck are you
problem?
talking about?
Do you not see a problem with human beings being in relationships with robots? Do you not see a problem with that?
No.
What's crazy is
You don't see a problem. Okay, man. So you
It's-
don't
well,
really
no, the
think
thing
too
is
far into the
there's-
future. I get it.
People
You
have
have a
people have pocket pussies. People have sex dolls. They've been around forever. Very few people have relationships with inanimate objects, but that does happen rarely. And you know what? Nobody gets hurt, honey. Nobody gets hurt. So couldn't care less. You could watch videos about it online.
Yeah, and I don't see what this has to do with robots anyway. So you're just.
Well, I mean, that's what your community is kind of preaching for.
No
is
one's
to-
arguing about robots. Nobody's arguing about robots. Please learn how to stay.
It's gonna be
Learn how to
robots
stay
in
on.
the
Learn
next
how to
10
stay on
years.
topics. Learn how to stay on topic, King.
I mean, no, it's part of the community.
Can you stay on topic?
It's part of the community.
Can you stay on topic?
Yes, that is the topic.
Okay. Can you tell me where robots are involved with LGBT plus community? Give a specific example.
Is the community accepting of everyone in order to
Give
be
me an
related
example
with
of where
everyone?
robots are a part of the LGBT plus community.
Well, hey man, are you part of the community?
Give me an
Doug?
example of where
Are you part
robots
the
are part of.
community?
Give me an example where robots are part of the LGBT
Doug,
plus
are you
community.
part of the community?
Give me an example where robots are part of the LGBT community. Please answer the question directly.
Is going to be here in about 10 years.
Where are they part of the LGBT plus community currently? Answer the
Because you
question
guys are very
directly.
accepting of everything,
Please
right?
answer the
You guys are
question
very-
directly. Please answer the question directly. Where currently they are part of the LGBT plus community. Answer it
I'm
directly.
looking in the. See, here's. the
Okay,
thing,
so
Doug.
there is nothing directly. So you're wrong. So it's not part of the community
Hey, Doug, are
directly.
you part of the
Perfect.
community?
So
Is
can you
that
give
why
me an
you're so
example of why
hostile
being
against part of it?
transgender is incorrect? So since you can't tell me where robots
Doug,
are part of
you-
it,
are you-
we're
are
talking.
you-
Learn how to stay on topic, buddy.
Hey, Doug, are you gay?
Please learn how to stay on topic, Ink. I know why you do this is because, number one, you have no life at all. Nobody likes you in person. That's the reason why you're constantly on here trying to go onto debates of people that just give you attention. That's all you want is attention because you get no attention in person. Clearly, we can see how you look. No duh,
That's
you
why
don't
you're
get
hosting
no duh, you don't get attention in person.
That's
We
why
can
you're
all see
hosting
that.
a-
Hence, when I was doing a live at 7 this
You're the one
morning
host-
talking about fitness related stuff, you couldn't help but yourself come onto the live and try to respond over there. You couldn't help it because you need attention.
I'm up. That's why.
Well, that doesn't seem to be working
That's why
out for
you're
you too
hosting.
well. Well, that doesn't seem to be working
That's why
out too
you're
well for
hosting
you.
a live.
That doesn't seem to be working
That's
out
why you're
too
hosting
well
a
for you
live.
trying to wake up
That's why
early.
you're
trying to do
hosting
that.
a live because you want attention, man. That's why
Huh.
you can debate is fucking politics and fucking LGBTQ, man, dude. Fucking.
And
That's
King,
fucking-
he,
Right,
you
they're
know what?
important
He's
topics.
actually doing.
That's
He's
it,
getting
man. Politics and
compensated for this.
LGBTQ.
He's actually doing work. You do this as a
Doing
shitty
work,
hobby,
man.
and you're
What is
terrible
he
at
doing,
it.
man?
You're
I'm at
fucking
a 4
terrible at it,
a.m.,
and
it's
this is
9
your
p.m.
hobby.
right now, and he's still
Why are you
fucking-
so insecure? What's your dog in this fight about gay people? Why are you this young man worried about trans people? What's up with you?
Well, he's for
Yeah,
sure
you
in the
guys are
closet. That's
poisoning
why.
our children. You guys are
Yeah.
poisoning
He's
the
fighting.
children.
He has so much hatred for queer people because he's constantly like telling himself it's wrong, it's bad, it's gross.
Yeah,
it's
you
wrong,
guys
it's
are
bad, it's
poisoning
gross.
the children.
Girl, I have nothing to do with children.
You
should stay the
you
fuck
and
away
your
from children.
community.
Stay
You
away
and
from
your
those
fucking
trans
community.
kids too.
You and your fucking.
Oh my goodness.
You got anything of substance to say, Kink? Or
Yeah,
you
it's
just gonna
embarrassing
complain?
that Doug fucking does this too.
You just gonna complain?
You're in part. I'm not gonna complain, man. I want to have a discussion.
That's all
with
you've been
Santa
do-
Claus.
that's all you've been
That
doing
Logan
is
man
complaining.
a fucking
That's-
old-ass man that has
That's
nothing
all you've been
else
doing
to
is
do.
complaining.
I'm not complaining. I'm telling the truth. 10 years, man. Look. In the
Telling.
future.
Well, no, you're telling your opinion. Hold on. Let's make sure we're accurate with our words. You're saying it an opinion. You saying it wouldn't be you saying the truth. You're saying an opinion.
Okay, what's gonna happen in 10 years down the line?
I don't know why you're so obsessed with robots.
Yeah, let's unpack this. I want to understand what people are going to be having sex with. Like, are they going to be like androids that look like total people, or are they going to look like robots? That's my
That's
question.
all-
Are they going to
well,
look like an
here's the
actual
thing.
person?
Yeah, they're gonna look like
I-
Bender from. I can't think of the name. I can't think of the name of the show.
Futurama, yeah.
Futurama, yeah. Like that's what I'm thinking. Are they gonna look like Bender, or is it just gonna be like a person but AI?
There's already movies about people having androids that they fall in love with and stuff in the future. It has nothing to do with LGBTQ. What if it's a guy and a girl robot? That would be straight people. We don't want them in the group. We don't want the straight robots in this.
No, I mean, here's the thing. Your community will be allowing people being with robots.
Okay, let's say that were the case. Why is that bad? Other than it bothers your feelings.
That's bad. Humans with robots? You
Tell me
don't
why
want
it's a bad
humans to
thing.
connect with humans?
Other than it bothers your feelings, King. Other than
you
your
look
huge
at society,
snowflake.
man. Humans with
You're not
humans
answering the
with
question. You
robots.
keep repeating the same thing. Give me an objective
asking
reason.
you, Doug.
Shut up, King. Give me an objective reason as to why that's bad, other than you're a huge snowflake and it bothers your feelings. How does it harm you?
It's bad because the human connection, man.
The human could what?
I have such great human connections.
see an issue
Queer
with
people have
humans
hot
with
sex.
robots?
They have great family lives. Gay people have awesome lives. I have human connection left and right.
Yeah. But
No,
what
King, I'm
saying is
asking
your
you to stop
community-
giving me your feelings and give me something objective. It bothers you. We all got that. Why is it bad?
objective. So you're looking for
Objectively.
facts,
Yep.
right?
Objectively, why
You're
is
looking
it
for facts.
bad?
What are facts?
Objectively, why is it bad? King, why is it bad? King, why is it bad objectively? Other than it bothers your
Objectively,
fifis.
you're looking for facts, right?
Are you able to
You're
answer the
looking for
question, or
facts.
are you going to keep trying to do a pretend debate,
I'm
bro?
trying to
Think
talk to you like
you're not. You're not
another
answering the
person.
question. Tell me why it's
Yeah.
a bad thing, other than it bothers your feelings.
You're one of those brainwashed people, man. You know what facts
Tell me
are?
why
Do
it's
you
a
not
bad
know?
thing, other than it hurts your feelings, King. Tell me why it's a
I'm
bad
looking out for the
thing.
humans. I'm looking out for the humans out there, man.
How does it bother you? How does it harm you if
It doesn't
some?
robot-
How does it harm you if somebody else dates a robot? Tell me why that's bad. For
Why
you,
does that have to harm me specifically?
because then it's not your business and it doesn't matter.
It's not my business, man.
Can you tell me how it matters? Can you tell me how it matters?
Then I have no say.
Can you tell me how it matters? Can you tell me how it matters?
Hey, man, Doug, you're a
Can you tell me how it matters?
You're a faggot, dude.
Can you tell me how it matters?
You're a baby. You're a baby of a man, King.
Nobody can
Oh,
hear you,
you're
King. You're
muffled
muffled.
sounding too.
You're
so
muffled. Nobody can hear you.
Dude, man.
He's calling us F slurs.
I know. I heard
had
it.
him
I heard
blocked.
it. I heard
Yeah,
it.
lame. I think it's so uncool for a young person to be homophobic and transphobic, like to be pressed about gay people, and I just don't think he's very bright too. This idea that we're
No, he's not. He's not.
robot inclusive in 10 years. Watch out! I've never heard that before. That's crazy.
No, I've spoke with him before. He's very, very low IQ. Like,
Yeah.
he's just not an intelligent person. There's just no other way of saying it. I speak with guests that I disagree with that I think are halfway intelligent. He's just not. Like, he has probably a very
Hello.
below average IQ. Hey, what's up?
How you going, mate?
Great. How old are you?
I'm 18. I'm legal. Yes, don't worry.
Cool. What's up?
Okay, so how do you know that MAGA they hate LGBTQ?
Because
Like,
they
what's your
vote.
point? What is
Because they vote for hateful and harmful policies.
policy?
Hold on, Tammy. Thank you for the 20 on the blue out with a V. I really appreciate you, Tammy. Sorry, I'm just seeing it right now. If that was for a kick, we can use that for somebody else. Sorry, I'm just seeing it, Tammy. But W Tammy in the comments. All right, what was your question? I'm sorry. What was your question?
My question is, how do you know they hate it, and what are the hateful policies they vote for?
Yeah.
Based on
Yes.
what?
Yeah. So they're voting for. You're not in the country, right? Or you didn't vote for Trump?
So I was back in, so I moved out 2 years ago, but I was in the US for a vacation with my friends, and my friends are still back in the US. Some of them are MAGA, but they don't have any problem with the LGBTQ community. I don't know why.
Well, then why are they
Yeah.
voting? But then why did they vote for someone that's harming the LGBT
And
plus
you are
community?
generalizing the whole thing, yeah.
I'm not
The
generalizing.
whole idea.
I'm not generalizing. The very act of voting for Trump harms the community.
Yeah, but how does it harm the community? Like, based on what? How do they harm the LGBTQ? Do they hunt them down, or do they block their rights? What do they do?
Yeah, so last year in 2025 by Republicans, there was well over 600 anti-LGBT plus bills introduced to Congress, all by Republicans, mind you. And Trump last year, and it will probably be the case this year, wrote numerous executive orders harming the LGBT plus community. And I can pull up them if you want.
Yeah, can you pull them, please? I wanna know.
Yeah. So we're reading this one. This is prioritizing military excellence and readiness, kicking trans people out of the military, keeping men out of women's sports was another one. Ending radical indoctrination and K through 12 schooling was another one that he did. What else? Yeah, those are three main ones that we can talk about that I think are very harmful towards the LGBT plus community. Protecting children from chemical and surgical mutilation, so banning gender affirming care for anyone under the age of 19.
The one he did on day one, it was
Yeah, but
defending women
but yeah,
from
but
gender. I'm reading something real quick. It says defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. That's what he did day one in office. It's a direct attack on trans women.
Transforming. Yeah, but the thing is, like, and you mentioned that he banned the funding to, like, I mean, he banned that kids like who are not 19 can't what can they do now that he banned?
No, he got rid of medical transitioning gender affirming care for people 19 and under, and that's the hormone
Under
blockers.
19. Yeah, but how is that a bad thing? I mean, how is that harmful? I mean,
how is it harmful to take away medically necessary and safe health care from kids that have a diagnosis for gender dysphoria, and then you force them to go through the wrong puberty,
dysphoria.
and then when they,
yeah, but like, and then you do it in your 19s. What is the difference? Like,
okay,
how
I'll
is that
explain
going
it to you.
to
No,
harm
it's a good question. Let me explain it to you. If you have a
Yeah.
trans daughter, and you affirm her in her identity, that means that she was born male. Okay.
Yeah.
Now she's been going to school as a little girl. When she turns 12, when she's starting to come into puberty, they safely pause her puberty because she's afraid of going through a male puberty. She has a diagnosis for dysphoria. So they pause the puberty for about a half a year to a year so she could speak in front of a psychiatrist more. And then when she's around 15, she's not going to go through male puberty. She's going to go through a female puberty. This is not a cosmetic intervention. This is about alleviating a condition. And going through the puberty that aligns with your identity alleviates the dysphoria. And when you turn 19, you went through the wrong puberty, your voice is already deep, you're already covered in hair, you're already tall and broad. Those things are expensive to try to correct. Some things you can't. So that's why it's, and there's so few kids that get it. And here in America, we don't get health care. Most kids can't go to a doctor. They're taking away this health care. Kids can't even see a psychiatrist if they're under distress because the psychiatrist is afraid to affirm their identity.
What? Okay, so yeah, that's bad. I didn't know that. Yep. Okay, so yep. Yeah, you're right. One other thing I want to ask. Wait, so what can you guys do about it? I mean, and what are you guys going to do?
What are we going to do? Is that what you said?
Yes, so like, and can you change anything, or you have
I mean,
to deal with it?
no. I mean, I currently, I think the best we can do is make awareness about it, right, as best as possible, and vote. Unless some sort of revolution happens, I think currently that's the best thing that can be done. Raise awareness, vote, and keep advocating on the behalf of in this case, the LGBT plus community.
Yeah, we both host lives. We both host lives advocating, speaking out against what's going on in this country, and it's pretty scary here. And I get that you came on vacation here. Where are you from?
I'm from Iran.
From Iran.
Yep.
So, salam alaikum. Are you Muslim?
No, no. And we're not Muslim back in Iran. And we are born as a Muslim, but we are not really Muslim. And yeah, we're not the practical version, you know what I mean? Like, so we say,
Oh, so you're like culturally, is that what you're saying, but not religiously?
No, not even culturally. Like, have you seen the protests going on in Iran? Like,
no, I actually.
We haven't. Okay, so we have a revolution going on. We want to change the regime because they force us to be Muslim. I mean, they don't allow LGBTQ community to be welcome in society. So when you don't have appropriate hijab, they execute you, they punish you, they charge you, and people don't have basic human rights like you guys do in America, which they are taking it away from you, as I can see. So we are just fighting for that. We want to have a better situation.
I think I heard something about the women not wearing hijabs in Iran. Are they doing that now?
So because some government is it's based on Sharia law, which is very strict on hijab and those kind of stuff, right? So if women are not if they are not complying to the law, they are punished.
Wow.
Yeah, so 4 years ago, if you have heard, it was a very famous trend. Mahsa Amini, she was one of the girls that was killed by the Islamic Republic for not wearing hijab. And when her death was announced on the media, we had some protests going on, which led to 1,500 deaths. Yeah, but they silenced the people, and now after 4 years, we are still protesting in a heavier, in a very heavier manner, which they killed around 40,000 people in just 3 days.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That's terrible.
Yeah. So in Iran, and we love the LGBTQ community, and yeah, we're not Muslim because Muslims, they don't love that. Yeah. So as you know, no country in the Middle East except Israel and welcome them. So yeah, it's pretty fucked up back there.
Well, I hope you're safe. I hope you're okay over there. We don't get a lot of foreign press and news in America, and right now things are really scary and shitty here. Right now, the government is rounding up brown people and making them disappear, and they're taking people's citizens' lives, and they're applauding it. They're happy about it.
I've seen the video. It's very disturbing. Yeah. So I wish you guys all the best. That's really sad to hear. I mean, yeah, it's
Likewise.
not really good.
Likewise.
All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on up. I'm gonna bring you down, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty.
All good, man. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Hey guys, I'm gonna wrap this up in general. I gotta be getting to bed here soon because I gotta wake up at 7 in the morning, so I want to try to get enough sleep. All right, but Santa, I appreciate you coming on up.
11:30 there.
It is. I know. I need my beauty sleep. Anything you want to say before before I end
you
it?
look pretty good. You probably could do without a few nights beauty rest.
Hey, I still need it though. All right.
If I don't get sleep, it messes my day up. It messes my brain up. I don't.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Oh, I'm completely useless the next day if I don't get sleep at all, even if I get like a couple hours. So, yeah, I need it for sure. All right. Well, hey.
The reverse is true. If I could get like 8 hours of sleep, I feel like $1 million. Doug, thank you for having me up. It was fun hanging out with you.
Yeah, you too. Take care. Have a good rest of your night. Okay.
I will. I might go live, listeners. I might go live a little later.
All right, guys. Well, make sure number one you give Santa a follow. Okay, he hosts lives, so he's got great lives. So if he does, make sure you watch him. Okay. All right. Take care. And everybody in general. Who's this person that seems to be? What's going on here? Somebody seems to be very obsessed. Huh. This twin person seems oddly obsessed. What's going on there? Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the live, click the red follow button on the top left. Make sure you join Discord. Link is in the bio. If the link doesn't work, shoot me a message. Make sure you guys all sub to me on the tube. I would greatly appreciate that. I think that's pretty much all I got. And guys, the goal. Oh, and hey, people on the tube. Looks like we had a lot of comments again. I like it that we're getting more comments on the tube. That's a good sign. So. Again, guys, all sub to me over there. It's Dougielifts, Dougielifts. The goal is to go live tomorrow after my morning clients, so it'll be like 8:15 Eastern time. But I will let you guys know in Discord and the bulletin board here, okay? I can't guarantee I'm going to be live in the morning, but that is the goal, okay? All right, guys, I'll see you all hopefully tomorrow. All right, take care, everyone.